He's doubting my words like he needs some proof. Plus he struggles with the idea of absolute truth. He won't practice those things which he don't esteem. He hates absolute truth, then he's a supreme being. Since he has no standards, then he has no answers. His contribution in life is just prostate cancer. I try to answer the questions he throws my way. Hopefully another man will be born today.
So we're here with my boy Julian, Cortland, and Jonathan, aka Young Yano the Great. So I really appreciate you guys coming through today. Like I said, I kind of gave you guys kind of a background of what we're doing. Let me just kind of explain it a little better. So just went around talking to different college campuses, different neighborhoods, talking to different people. Just started asking them, like, what are some things that if we talked about, they'd be really interested in, like, hearing, engaging with. So basically we came up with a list of questions. Some of them are kind of, edgy. Some of them might be off the, kind of, I don't know, what would you call it. But I really feel like this is going to be something like very interesting for us to do. So without further ado, you mind if we go ahead and just jump right in?
Let's do that.
Yeah, cool. So I think the very first thing I kind of want to start off with is just like reading some stats I kind of pulled up online. These are kind of like African American male stats, but I feel like it's kind of like spoken in general. So let me go ahead and read them out. It says 10% of the African American male population are in prison. 50% of African American men don't graduate from high school. 92% of these men don't even graduate from college. 6% will get the AIDS virus. 20% are unemployed. And in the state of Washington, D.C., 9% die before they turn 45. But to me, the most interesting of all these stats was just something I saw on an MSNBC interview. And like I said, I didn't make this up, this is what I read. And they said there are more black men who are in prison now than were in slavery in 1850. So yeah, it's pretty serious. So definitely we see that there's a pretty serious issue, man. Like this problem's going on, and just I think the very first question we need to hop into is what's up with men nowadays? Like this seems to be a problem. So what's going on? Let's go ahead and talk about this.
I think manhood is just in a state of confusion.
Yeah.
There's a lack of understanding of what it means to be a man. I think there's 1,000 definitions of manhood. It's like the abominable snowman, 1,000 footprints everywhere, but he's nowhere to be found. So I think there's just no picture or good definition or person living it out now to show people what it means to be a man. So just understanding, I think, is the first step.
So I think that's true. People don't know who to look to. Some people are fatherless. Some people, I think you mentioned the stat of not having graduated from high school, because typically their fathers haven't graduated from high school, so it's not a priority, for them. And so it's like a chain reaction. They look to their friends, they look to the people around them, and they want to be like them because they don't know what it truly means to be a man. So like you said, manhood is in a state of confusion. They don't know who to look to.
I think a lot of that also goes back into just that whole immaturity. You got boys who will one day be men, but in that kind of growing period, they maintain boyish mentalities at the age of 20. So at the end of the day, you have really old boys, and just that immaturity of not ever seeing, like Jonathan was saying, an example of it, or just the lack of in their households, at school, and different things like that. They kind of hold on to that immature mentality to where we see a lot of these problems being manifested in themselves by just the immaturity of males, not really men. So.
Yeah.
And then that pride is a big thing too. A lot of people, if you ask them, "Are you a man?" they'll say, "Yeah, I'm a man." You know what I mean? And feeling like you have the right definition of manhood, and not being willing to ask, "What is a man?" to any other person. You feel like you have it. I feel like that's a big thing also, pride. I'm doing the right thing. Even if you ask a man in jail, he'd be like, "Are you a man?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a man." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just with that whole idea, kind of that fatherless generation. It's so many dudes grow up without a dad, and so kind of like you said, that manhood thing, what does it mean to be a man? Is there's people on TV, the athletes, whatever it is, they never get that clear definition, and just kind of we crown ourselves a man. We say, well, I'm a man because I'm 18 years old, but I kid you not, I heard somebody say, you can be a boy until the day you lie in your grave, so we definitely don't see that there's any clear definition of manhood. I feel like that's a really big issue, that we need to address.
How could we begin to address that issue?
I think first having a definition in a person or people, and that starts with examples. Like you're saying, if we have examples of manhood or what it means to be a man in the athletes, in the entertainers, those people are not relational. You know what I mean? So like you can't relate to them, you can't talk to them. So I mean, it's like if our definition is that distant, there's no connection, so there's no way to live it out. You know what I mean?
You know,
Real way.
kind of like also like being the people who claim to be men and really are men, wanting to reach out to the younger generation and really disciple, pour into, lead those people. Because I had a conversation with a friend of mine actually, and he was like, I know when I get to the point where I'm in my mid-30s, I'm going to disciple, I'm going to reach out to younger men because I know that I needed that in my time. And y'all would all agree, like we all need that, we all want that. And so kind of that willingness to step out and say, I'm going to grab you and I'm going to help you and show you what it means to be a man and live life on life with you.
That's good.
Encouraging boys at a young age that manhood is the aim. I think in a lot of ways we push off manhood for as long as possible because we enjoy the irresponsibility of boyhood, just kind of playing around, doing whatever you want to do. So fathers, you know, raising their little boys up to with the reality that one day you're going to be a man, and these are the responsibilities that come along with that, and not something to be, you know, despised or looked down upon, but something to be embraced. And you know, this is a good thing. So
I think that's true, like giving opportunities to the young men and being able for them to learn through failure and in success, you know what I mean? Like not just being like, okay, you're a boy, so I'm just going to teach you by telling you what it means to be a man. No, I'm going to give you these responsibilities slowly, and you will learn how to be a man through failure, taking responsibility when you fail and when you succeed.
Yeah, that's good. So definitely, man, this is a whole array of problems that we kind of discussed, and I really feel like we can get into more detail, but I feel like we can kind of leave it to there. You know, just that issue of, you know, no leadership, issue of, you know what I mean, like kind of like you said, those athletes, just like they won't tell you, just kind of see them from a distance, and just kind of, you know, just trying to like you said, confusion. You know, we're in a huge state of confusion, and we definitely need some clarity before we can move anywhere. So, yeah.